Beautiful day, divine beings. I hope you all are well. I hope that you all had a beautiful weekend. I definitely did. But boy, I had some frustrating moments because I was trying to accomplish something that I had kind of been putting off for a couple of months. And I was thinking, put a little bit of money into it, and I was thinking, oh, I'll be able to do it, with some tutorial videos to assist me with what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, I'll be able to do that. There should be no problem. Nope. I got so frustrated with that particular project, and I did try. I really did try. I tried my hardest. But you know what? I said, this is not going to work. I stepped away from it. It had me so frustrated to where I was in tears, and I just stepped away from it, and I was like, excuse me, guys. I think I got an eyelash in my eye. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do it. And so I accepted the fact that as much as I wanted to believe that I could do it, and I thought that I was going to be able to accomplish the goal and getting it done, I was giving myself a deadline of the end of the week, of the end of this week, by Sunday of this week. And I said, okay, I should have it done by Sunday. But this Sunday, this past Sunday, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do it. So I said, I'm going to leave this alone. Yes, I lost a little bit of money, but I was like, I need to regain my peace, and I'm not going to let this, small part of a much bigger puzzle stop me from getting to my end goal, because I just felt like it was becoming a distraction. So, in other words, I said all of that to get to the point of, I failed at something. I just went ahead and let it go. And by the end of last night, I had a peaceful resolution to resolve that problem. And, because I came to a peaceful resolution, I was able to get me a good night's sleep. Because I released all that pressure and all of that frustration and all of that emotion that had me so upset and not accomplishing the goal that I wanted to accomplish. By yesterday, I just said, forget it. So I took my L proudly, and, I moved forward. And so I did a little bit more research today and what, the resolution that I came to. And I feel that it's going to be so much simpler, especially with getting things off to a good start, and with this project that I'm working on for us, I want it to be as seamless and off to a, a smooth start as much as possible. And, I just don't want to create too many problems or make this more complicated than it has to be, because I feel like sometimes when we want to see something successful, we make it more complicated than it has to be. And I'm just like, it's not that serious. So, something else came to mind, and I said, okay, I'm going to do some research. I didn't do any last night. It just came to me to mind what, I felt like I needed to go toward as far as the peaceful resolution. And I said, okay, I researched it. I said, okay, I'm going to research it in the morning, which is this morning. I went ahead and did that, and it seemed like that's going to be so much way simpler than what I was trying to do, but then also save me a lot of money as well. So I hope you guys are doing well, and that you are getting off to a good start of your day, and if not, that you are taking the steps daily to get to a much better place. I know you guys are thinking, you probably are like, what is going on with her hat? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is not my style, but I love my hats. Since I've chopped off all my hair, I miss my hair, but that, whole process is for a whole nother story, a whole nother day. But I chopped off all my hair. That was for me. I did that for me, and it was very necessary at the time when I did it. But I had to go to the store and get some water, and I was like, I need me a hat because I forgot my hat again today. Forgot my hat. Left out of the house, because of course, I still am doing the 9 to 5 thing, but gratitude, God, gratitude. I still have a job, and as you can see, I don't do much of anything on my job. I'm getting paid to do really nothing, so I can't complain. But is it what my heart desires? Is it my purpose work? No. Many people may say, well, you can't complain if you really don't do anything on your job. And, even though it's not what you really want to do, but like I said, my soul is pushing me toward what I'm really supposed to be doing. And I'm taking the steps every day to make sure that I, step into what I'm really supposed to be doing. So that I'm not held in this vicious cycle of the matrix and the 9 to 5 and all of this and that and working for somebody else, because I was never meant to work for somebody else. Many of us were not. Many of us, that's not our program. That was not a part of our destiny. And how you're never not meant to work for somebody is if you can't keep a job, or you always have issues on your job with people, and those people that give you issues on that job, they're just trying to push you into realizing that you need to become your own boss. And I'm taking steps to do that every day, to become my own boss. And it's like I said, it's unnerving because I don't know what to expect, and I'm stepping into the unknown, all the while releasing the old version of myself that was used to being in survival mode and hustling and thinking I gotta work hard and not smart. So it's a huge change. But anyway, outside of all of the rigmarole that was going on over the weekend, I had a good weekend. It was peaceful, and I'm just grateful to God every day that I have. I have support in the physical and in the ethers, and I'm grateful for everything that I do have in my life at this point. And I'm just moving toward a more peaceful state every day in my mind as I'm going with the flow of how this thing is going to go, because I don't know exactly how God's plan is going to go. I'm just rolling with it and making sure that I'm staying on the right track and staying on course and staying focused. So that's my main goal. A lot of stuff been coming up while I've been doing my healing work. I am presently working on confidence, making sure that I, maintain my confidence and I keep my confidence intact. That's been getting better every day because I've been feeding myself what I need to in order to increase and strengthen my confidence. I tell myself every day that I'm going to, make my dreams a reality, because I refuse at this point in my life to pass away with my dreams in the sky and to never see them come into fruition. So I am courageously taking steps every day to pull each of my dreams out of the sky so that I can fulfill that promise that I made to that little girl that I once was all those years ago. But I'm just letting it all go, man. I'm just letting it all go. I literally am. And this is something that I've never done before. I've never done it before, like I said, because I'm transforming into the person that I will be for the rest of my life, and the old me is passing away slowly but surely, and I'm grieving her. But I'm looking forward to releasing her fully and completely. so that the real me can shine all the way through. And I'm so ready. I'm so ready because I'm so tired of living a life and existing as someone who I never really was meant to be. You know, it worked until it didn't. You know, what I was doing was working until it no longer worked. You know, I don't even recognize that old life anymore. And I am ready to embrace the new version of myself and the new life and everything beautiful that's to come with it. You know, because existing is not a way of life for me anymore. And it never was, because my soul always struggled with just existing and working just to pay bills and never being able to see the fruits of my labor because they were always small, because I always settled for less. You know, when my son called me out the other day, he said, I told him, I said, well, he's planning something himself. And I said, well, don't you want to set your prices higher? And he said, no. He said, I want to start a little small. He said, because I want to guarantee that I'll get customers and I want to be able to build up my reputation so that they'll trust me into paying me more. You know, and I said, that's wise. He said, but Mom, he said, you know, aren't you selling yourself short? Like, I love my son because he will call me out on my stuff. And those are the type of relationships that I want as a part of my life. Like, I want people to call me out on my shit. I want people to tell me, you know, where I'm effing up at. I want people to correct me so that I can grow, so that I can incorporate their advisement and grow. You know, I want that for myself. And again, if you're emotionally secure in yourself, you're not going to take offense to people that love you offering constructive criticism and good advisement that is for your growth. And what they're telling you very well may be messages from the divine that you need to hear through them as the vessels that are being used to relay these messages in order for you to grow. You know, and I'm all for that, and I'm all for that because I'm at that point in my life where I'm all about growth. I'm all about healing. I'm all about getting better, and so that I can rise to the occasion, you know, a lot quicker, you know. But, you know, he said, isn't that what you're doing, Mom? You know, with the job that you have, aren't you settling for less? Like, you don't get paid enough. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, I don't. But I said, you know, at the same time, you're right. And I raised him to speak up his mind and to not censor himself. So therefore, not to allow others to censor him. And if anybody tries to censor him, I tell him, you know, those are not for you. Those people are not for you. Those situations are not for you. We should not be censored. You know, that is crippling to the soul, to allow others, or to even allow yourself to censor yourself, to not speak your mind fully and completely, you know, in the way that you should, in the way that your soul would have you do. But I told him, I said, you know, I'm taking steps every day, you know, to leave that old life behind of accepting the bare minimum. So he called me out, and, you know, I really appreciated that, because that showed me that, you know, I've raised someone who listened to my advisement and not holding back on what you need to say, you know, whether people would like it or not. Telling the truth is so vital, you know. It allows you to be yourself, but it also allows you to help others, at least those that want the help anyway, because some people don't want to hear the truth, and that's okay. You know, for people that don't want to hear the truth, them, you know, showing you that they don't want to hear it is them also telling you that, you know, they don't accept you. So then, you know, you put your time into those that want to hear the truth, that appreciate the truth, you know, that embrace those truths in order for them to grow. But I hope you guys are doing well with your list. Like I said, I am continuing to speak life into myself every day when it comes to confidence, by assuring myself that I can do what it is I've set out to do. God put me here for a specific purpose, and If God believes that I can do whatever it is that I've been brought here to do, then I definitely should be able to believe in myself that I can do what it is that I need to do in order to carry out the tasks that I've been provided, right? I want you all to believe in yourselves too, that you can do whatever it is that you put your beautiful minds to. And if no one told you today that you are absolutely needed and that you are absolutely amazing, I'll be the first. I hope that you all are doing well in learning how to love yourself, learning how to appreciate yourself. It is not easy in the beginning, but it gets easier with time. I have to tell y'all, I am just loving this weather today. It's kind of warm, but it's like a nice breeze. So I'm loving it. I'm just laying back here. Before I got on here with you guys, was doing some research. So I'm going to get back into my research here and do what I need to do so that I can get this thing off the ground, man. For us, for this community. For those of you that have decided to become a part of my community in particular, I want to extend a immense amount of gratitude to each and every one of you. I know that this thing is just beginning, but I would like for this thing to grow and grow and grow as much as it possibly can, so that we can uplift and encourage one another. As we all go toward our north nodes and our purposes and do what we came here to do, right? But I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day and night, depending on where you are in the world. Like I said, keep feeding life and breathing life into yourselves. If you don't like where you are in your life, make the change. Stop putting it off. Why are you putting it off? I'm scared. You looking at somebody that I'm done being scared. Fear is a number one tactic that the enemy likes to use, instilling fear in you. Just go ahead and do what you gotta do. Make your plan and then go ahead and do what you gotta do. And if you're not sure, like I said, take the time to figure that out, what that is for you. But I was gonna go into what things were kind of coming up for me during this retrograde. I've been having some things come up. Again, the Mercury retrograde is when planet Mercury slows down, and when it slows down, it causes us to slow down in our behaviors and our thinking, even in our decision making, our communication. It's like a rest period. When you think of the word retrograde, you want to think of all the words that have RE in the front of it. Rest, reassess, realign, rethink, reevaluate, rearrange. It is a period where we are taking time to reflect, if I haven't said reflect already, on our lives, review our lives. And, we can take that time to reassess our lives and the past decisions that we made. So if we are doing a reevaluation of our lives where we currently stand at this time, we can do a reassessment. And if we don't particularly like where we are, such as myself, at this point in our lives, we can take the time to look at everything that we don't like and formulate a plan to get to the place where we want to be in our life, right? And this is a grand time to do that. So a lot of things have been coming up for me, like financially, I don't like where things are, so I am taking the steps to become my own boss. And it is a lot in the beginning. It's a lot of steps in the beginning. But I'm learning as I'm going that it's really not that complicated. You just take one step at a time and just do one thing at a time until everything has been built up and everything comes together. But it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I actually had somebody confirm that. There's like this development center for like new business owners that I'm working with. I asked her, what I should do, because there's one thing I want to do in particular. And she was like, she explained it. And I was like, wow, that doesn't even sound complicated. She was like, I know it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. She was like, this is what you do, and this is what you do, and this. It was like she broke it down into a few steps, but like when I was reading it on the website, it looked like it was like 20,000 steps. But even the divine has been warning me of that initially it's going to be a lot of steps, but once everything is put together, it won't be so bad. And I'll be glad that I've done it. And I feel like I'll be glad once everything is done. I'll look at it, and I'll say, man, it really wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. But also that, man, I wish I had done this sooner. I feel like I'm going to be thinking like that. Why didn't I do this sooner? And that's what I'm saying, for those of you that are ready to go ahead and just step out on total faith and just let the divine support you and guide you through, your process and whatever it is that you feel like you need to do for yourself so that you can be happy. And using your gifts to, create that abundant life for yourself so that you're not struggling in survivor mode. You will learn when you start taking the steps, such as myself. For those of you that are ready, it's really not as bad as it seems. And there's so much advice out there, but the best advice that you can follow is the advice of your soul. Let your soul lead you, and then the support of the divine. And then if you need help, ask the divine to send you the assistance and support that you need along your journey, and you building up whatever it is that you want to build or create for yourself, so that you can be happy and not be stressed about how you're going to eat and how you're going to pay this and that. That is not a life that is fitting for us divine beings. I'm sorry, we're not supposed to be living like that. But that's what the dark ones want us to believe, because like I said, they were using us to their benefit. So that whole mindset of, well, I gotta work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. No, those are the dark ones trying to convince you that you gotta work hard like that, because we were not destined or meant to work hard like that. That's not for us. That's for them. And that's just an illusion that they cast on us to make us think that, if we're not working 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 jobs, we're lazy. Or even if we're working one and we're working at minimum 10 hours a day, doing 80,000, doing the job of 50 people, and you're one person. Yeah, that's a lot that they tell you. We're not supposed to be working that hard. We are not supposed to be working that hard. And the confirmation or the proof that I know that we're not supposed to be working that hard is because God said so. I received that download a few days ago that January you need to work harder. You need to work hard. You need to work harder at making your life easier by working less. Meaning that, I need to put my plan together so that I can work smarter, not harder. Meaning that, I won't be doing as much. Kind of like right now. And I'm just getting paid to assist, and I'm not having to break my back in doing so. So, as you guys figure out your lives and as you go along and you're doing your healing work and slowing down during this retrograde as things are coming up that you need to take a look at to heal, as you reassess your life, know that you're loved, know that you're supported, and that you will do it. You can do it. And you are meant for and destined for amazing and beautiful and wonderful things. So, divine beings, I send you all a lot of love, a lot of light, a lot of healing along your journeys. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your night, depending on where you are in the world. Let's stop settling for the bare minimum. Let's formulate these plans. Create a new system, because the system that we are currently dealing with is definitely broken, and it's not going to get better. So if you are waiting for things to get better, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you are wasting your time. It's not going to get better out here. It'll get better when you make your own plans. It'll get better when you step into your own purpose by using your gifts to create your heaven on earth and your abundance for yourself. Sorry, something keeps crawling on my leg and it's tickling. It's like tickling me. But we'll get there. Again, you have plenty of support. If you feel like you're alone and you have nobody, that's a lie that the enemy is telling you, that you need to stop believing. You have plenty of support. You can become a part of my community or a part of a different community. I am a part of several communities online, and I get plenty of support there. If online is not your thing and you're more of an in-person type of individual, there's plenty of support out there. Again, you just have to use your discernment and your intuition on if those are people that you need to be connecting with, because being mindful of your energy and protecting your energy is very important when you're healing. Giving your energy out to those that are undeserving or that are trying to use and abuse you is just going to cause you to regress, and you don't need that either. So I wish you all well along your healing journeys, and that those of you that are struggling, that you get to a much better place. I send you all love, so much light, so much healing, and I hope that you are being patient with yourself, extending yourself grace during this time, understanding. You've been through a lot. Be patient with yourself. It may take you a while to unpack all of the things that you need to unpack. Learn how to love yourself during this process. You don't need others to love you. Learn how to love yourself. I always tell you that. But you guys, again, I'm having a good day. I'm glad that today is a good day. So I'm going to get back to work. And I'm going to enjoy this breeze as I'm working. And I'm going to continue to be grateful for everything that I have and for everything that I am and for everything that I have to look forward to. All right, guys. So until next time, love, peace, and grace.